it's Kayla and welcome back to my channel. And as you can see from the title today, we're going to be talking about my foundation routine, and that's literally that's all it is. That's my base. I'm going to talk about primer, and then I'm going to talk about how to go in to achieve more of a dewy, matte, kind of luminous glow. Nothing too oily, wet looking, and nothing mattifying either. I'm going to show you how I got that look, so if you just keep watching, you will see. Now I'm taking my Becca Backlight priming filter, and this is one of the ones I got at Sephora with my points because I wanted to try it. I really like, for my skin, it's dry, so I like to use very luminous. I like dewy, a dewy matte. I don't want to be too glowy and oily looking, but I do like a primer that does add a little luminosity to my skin. Now I'm taking the NYX Pore filler, and I'm just going to do this on my problem areas where my pores are a little bit more noticeable, I would say. So I just take a little bit here, and I like to warm it up between my fingers because I find that when I just go in and straight and apply it, it doesn't melt into the skin at all, and it kind of picks up with my foundation. So I kind of played around with it a little bit. I like to pretty much warm it up with my fingertips like that, and then I just come in here and I just press. I just press into my T-zone here, mainly around my nose on the sides here, and the tip of it, middle of my forehead, and my chin. I'm just using a pressing motion. I warm the product up, and I swear it just melts into the skin like that. And it made it so, because I was trying to find other alternatives other than just the Porefessional by Benefit, just to see what's out there, and more not NYX is a drugstore, but it's not high end either. So it's a great in the middle, and you get a lot in here, a lot of product in here. So I like it. Once I figured out how to use it a little bit and melt it in my skin, it was awesome. What I'm loving right now this summer, as you can see in the video, is I'm taking my Marc Remarkable foundation. I'm in love with this foundation just because it's definitely not a luminous or dewy foundation at all, and that's why I prime and I add, as you see, I'll add an oil. I do other things because I love with this foundation, A, the coverage, and B, the finish it gives on my skin is just this luminous effect. So I just put a little bit on the back of my hand, and then I'm taking the Josie Maron 100% pure Argan oil, and I'm using the travel size one, which is still tons of product. So with doing the Backlight primer, giving me a luminous, I'm using more of a matte foundation, but I just love the coverage of it, and I'm going to make more of a matte foundation dewy by adding in a drop of oil. So as you see here, I'm just going to take that in the back of my hand and drop. I literally do one drop in mine. That's all I do. And then I'm going to mix together with my ring finger and blend it all in together. And I'm just going to, what is that here? I'm going to take it on my skin here. And another thing is too, for dry skin, or for if you're looking for a more luminous, just for especially with a high coverage foundation, I'm loving the finish with the Beauty Blender too. I'm taking my Beauty Blender, I'm just going to take the other side of it. I'm just going to push it into my skin like this. Because when you push into your skin, whether you're using a brush, a Beauty Blender, or your fingers, when you're pushing in, you're not disrupting what's underneath. And when we do our concealer, that's going to be very important. So since I do have mostly dry skin, it's really going to add that moisture. And if I have any dry patches, the foundation's not going to lay funny on it. It's not going to be lifted up. And then when you rub your face too with a brush or anything, if you rub, what it does is it acts as an exfoliant. So it's picking up any dead skin too, and then you're pushing your foundation on top of it as well. And you don't want that, because then that just adds and makes it feel like you have a lot more texture than you actually do. Look at that scratch. Look at that. You see how long it is? My hand was burning and I didn't realize. I looked in the mirror and it's this giant scrape. Okay, now I'm just coming around, because typically I wouldn't have my eyebrows done, so I would just not have to be so meticulous. And again, I don't go too crazy with my foundation under my eyes, because I am going to use a full coverage concealer underneath my eyes, and so you really don't need it. But I just like to go back over and over smile, especially smile lines. I like to move my cheek over. It's really attractive, I know, and get any creases out. So now that I've got my base on there, I've got my skin tone evened out, and it's definitely it's full coverage. It's definitely a more matte foundation, but I still have luminosity in my skin too, which is what I want. And if anything, at least my skin doesn't feel dry, super dried out. So now I'm going to take my Naked Skin by Urban Decay, my concealer, and I use Fair Neutral. And again, I like this because for my dry skin on my eyes, especially because I bake, when I bake too, I like to get really dry patchy underneath there really, really quick. So this one doesn't seem to do that, and it's very hydrating. So I'm just taking it down the side of my nose, underneath my eye. You don't want to just go here because you're also going to be like, if you have dark circles, you're going to emphasize that. So you just want to do a swipe, and then you want to also balance out the other areas. So we're just going to continue we want to make like a V. And then I'm going to come right on my cupid's bow here. Do the little X, or it turned out like a T or a cross there. It's weird. And then I'm going to come down my nose, forehead. And again, this is just to balance everything out, because if we have something on one area, just like with contouring or warming up the face, if we did one spot and not the other, it's not going to look proportioned, and it's not going to look, I say natural, but it's not going to look, what would I say? It's just not going to look right if it's not balanced out, I guess. So now I take my beauty blender again, because again, I love to use this because it absorbs, especially under the eye. We don't want any creasing. So now I'm just going to buff that into my skin. And again, as you can see why I said we don't need to put too much foundation under the eye, just because this concealer is so high coverage, and I went back over the same areas anyway, it would just kind of end up being a little too cakey probably. Blending, blending, blending away. Who is texting me? Really? Mm-hmm. Really? It's a family group chat right now. That's honestly all I do for that's all I do for my primer, my face primer, and then moving on to my foundation, the oil I mix into it, and my concealer. And this is how I get my base. Everything that, if you have a good base, again, everything from there kind of just comes along with it. And getting your color correcting correct, and when you get your highlighting correct, you're going with your powders and your bronzers, makes it all a lot easier. And when you have that base, it really just makes everything else a lot more look put together. And so that's why I wanted to show you guys kind of what I do. And that's it for this one. And I hope you guys enjoyed, and thanks for watching. Bye.